Why you feel spiritually powerless. See, what happens for us is that we fight battles that Christ has already got the victory over. We're fighting against sin. Why are we fighting against sin for? Christ has got the victory over sin. He dealt with that on the cross. We're fighting and doing things to be blessed by God, you know. There's certain actions you do because you think God's going to bless you because you're doing certain things. No, God has already blessed you already. We live a certain way because we think we need to live a certain way and do certain things to get God's God's blessing and to get God's grace and God's mercy upon us. No, he's already given it to us already. He done it all on the cross. See, Christ has made all good things available to us. But what we do, we try to earn it. You can't earn God's mercy. You can't earn God's grace. He's given it to us as a free gift, but we try to do things to earn it. Okay, we start fighting battles we don't need to be fighting because Christ has already got the victory over the enemy already. What we need to do is that we need to enforce what Christ has already done. Enforce it. We don't need to be working and fighting for it. And this is the secret right here, okay? The secret sauce, so to speak, is that we have to ask God to help us to be aware of what Christ has done for us. What does Christ done on the cross? What does it really mean? What did Christ really do for us on the cross? We need to be made aware of what he's done. Ask God to open the eyes of our understanding so we don't start fighting battles that have already been won. It makes no sense. We need to be sitting and resting in the finished works of Christ. Now, if you don't know what the finished works of Christ is, you need to ask God to open the eyes of your understanding and help you to be aware of the finished works of Christ. What does it mean? How do I operate in the finished works of Christ? We ask God to make us aware of his blessings, aware of his grace, aware of his mercy. When you sin and you fall short of the glory of God, grace is already there, but you have to be made aware that grace is there. You have to be made aware that forgiveness is there, because a lot of us, when we fall into sin and all this craziness and we fall short of the glory of God, we start moping around and walking around in condemnation. No, the reason why you're in condemnation is that you need God to make you aware that grace is there, make you aware that forgiveness is there. So that's what we need to be doing. Be in prayer. Prayer makes you aware of what God has made available for us. So that's what we need to be doing, because Christ has got the victory and won the victory for us, but a lot of us are not aware of what Christ has actually done for us. So we have to ask God to open the eyes of our understanding.